Alright, hello once again YouTube. Welcome back to more From the Depths. We're still working on our hovercraft at the moment. The Angie, this is meant to be our energy weapon hovercraft. Now, in terms of function, I've got it a little better. Although there are some bits I still want to replace, like these bits, even if the weight and cost is going up. These bits are taking hits, so I think it's worth replacing them. Those are meant to be 4 high, are they? Okay, so I'll replace the internal armor with metal, although that bit actually could be blended a bit more. But yes, as you can probably see, and this was taking inspiration from... Oh, I'm really sorry, I can't remember who it was that said it, but someone in the comments on one of the previous videos when I asked for help on this said you could try running more generators in here and then putting the batteries in the back. At least I think that's what they said. So we shifted to... I made the boilers a little bit bigger and put them in there. Got 3 turbines. The power is still a sort of issue. I had just realised I forgot to put any resource storage in here. I do want that. But it only drains fairly slowly now. So it should be okay even for a somewhat protracted battle. But yes, I've taken the top off to show you that. It still looks kind of ugly. I might have slightly called it out on that in the last one. It's not a pretty looking machine at the moment. It hovers high now as well. It hovers up to 20 because I was having collision issues. But it did okay. Actually, let's try a cataphract. Let's spawn in... Is this thing about the same cost? Let's spawn in the Saviour and see how it does against it. I've also adjusted the fire rate to once every 7.5 seconds. That's the melee thing. Let's try to cut into it. Oh, which might have a slight issue in that even though the blade is raised a little bit, my machine is flying. Also, what I haven't experimented yet with is other damage types, so I don't really want to use EMP because, again, I don't really like it. But I don't know whether explosive shock is the best option either. We could try the others, potentially. You can probably see from the power, it is draining gradually, but it's not too bad. I did kill it, though. What else we could try? We could try... Let's try piercing on the 2 of them and see if it seems to be doing more or less. And also, I just realised, add a target prioritization card, because that will be helping regardless of what we do with it. Anything, we could probably attach it from there. Yeah. Import selection. Classes of blocks. And you can go value per firepower. Yeah, value per firepower. Target the thing with the most guns. And then watch that accidentally hit the button a little early and accidentally mess up the targeting. Right, let's spawn another one. See if it looks like we're doing more or less damage. Can we see our stats? 60 AP. Okay, so yeah, a lot of armor piercing. That should punch through most things. If it hits. That didn't look amazing even on the one that did hit. Like it hit the barrel and the barrel basically soaked up the whole thing. Yeah, I've also, as you could probably already see, I think we are doing less damage, but I'll try switching it over against the same target in a sec. It's what, a cataphract? Is that right? A rapture, okay. I've been reinforcing the armor where we were getting hit, so front, back was already fine. This side ridge up here and this side ridge under here were all the parts where we were actually getting hit when I was watching it fighting. Oh, this thing is punching through our armor a little bit now. It's getting more shots off on us. It's doing 5,000 fairly reliably. Are we actually doing much damage when it punches through? We haven't yet. This thing is almost entirely gun, so this probably will die to a good... Oh, I imagine it's piercing rounds, so they won't necessarily explode very easily. Or pierce it fragment, maybe even this one. It is starting to win out. Okay, so we're doing about 5,000 a shot. Let's switch it back to the explosive shock and see how we do. We can also try input. Input? What do I mean? Impact, even. Okay, I don't know whether I could So it did kill it in one shot. I don't know that I can entirely put that down to the explosive shot, because I have a feeling what that was, in fact, was we've cracked the armor open already. Let's spawn in a new one and see how it does. But yeah, so piercing didn't seem to be doing a lot. It was hitting, it was punching holes, but it didn't really seem to get a kill. But oh, well, I mean, in terms of actual damage dealt, that's higher, because we can see the damage number when it fires. In terms of actually killing it, is it better? Sort of more generally fracturing the armor, I think, rather than punching holes in it. Not that we couldn't do one of each, I suppose. That's another alternative. We could have one barrel firing each. It's already a slightly odd particle cannon because it's got two beams that aren't equal length. It seems to be reasonably resilient, though. It seems to take hits quite well. At least from these guns. But, I mean, these are the guns we'll be fighting, so... It's certainly taking it better than our slower machines. But what I am thinking is, because I'm not so happy with the looks of this thing, and because I want to have a standard ground tank with an armoured piercing cannon as well, that's just generally a lot tougher and closer to the volume limit and bigger, we might potentially start building that, and I'll leave you guys some time to suggest things for the looks, because again, I'm really not happy with how this thing looks. Even if, in terms of actual function, it seems to be alright, actually. But we'll try impact in a minute as well. Oh, okay. No, that did good. Guess that eventually worked its way through and did some damage. Right, let's try the third option. Try impact. So this will basically act the same as a thump head. What does it say? Impact AP is not very high. I don't really know what increases that, but... This 7.5 second fire rate seems to be about right. It's firing reasonably quickly. It's scoring hits fairly reliably. It's supposedly a lot less damage. I think we hit both there. What was the actual damage done? I guess we hit here. Let's see, supposedly less, but we hit a bit when there's not much around it. Let's get some more hits in and see what it looks like. I think we're tough enough to withstand fire from this thing for quite a few rounds, so... And the other thing we could potentially add to this thing is shields. So we'll have to... I'm a little bit worried about the energy drain if we do that, so I might just leave it all going into the guns. Well, it is taking chunks off the armour. Doesn't look super impressive. Oh, mind you, I say that and I see what it actually did. Oh dear, we dead. We're dead. It must have broken into something there. What actually exploded there? Was that the gun? The whole sort of inside was caught out, but pack cannons... They really explode like that? I suppose if it got punctured and fired inside the hull? Got to full health? Not quite. Nope. Ah, because the chair must have been one of the casualties, so I got knocked out of it. Alright. I think explosive shock has been our most reliable one. So we'll switch back to that. I'm a little worried about that shot that killed us instantly. I don't know exactly what would have caused that. So again, I didn't think the inside was particularly explosive. Oh! The steam turbines explode? No, because it wasn't really them, was it? It was the particle cannon, right? Well, the turret was gone at least. I guess that was the particle cannon exploding, so that might be a risk that this thing just faces, but... To be fair, the armour on this thing has been worn down by several rounds of testing, so... Fresh, it ought to be okay. But yeah, okay. I think... Until I hear back from you guys about the looks, what we could do to make it look nicer, because I really am not... Like, in terms of, like, function, it's fine. In terms of how it looks, again, I'm really not quite happy with this yet. So we'll call that functionally complete, but feel free to send in your suggestions for how we can make it look nicer. We'll save painting it up properly for then, but we can use it in the campaign when we're ready. But yes, I feel like doing more building, and I want a conventional ground tank that is using... that is up to date, is using a standard cannon. So we'll build the Chris. This will be our all-rounder. Our cheaper... maybe cheaper? I don't know. Our simpler all-rounder that fires conventional shells. It might not necessarily be cheaper, but... And what I'm thinking is we'll do some stone armour for this. At least on the interior to protect against EMP. This will be kind of one that tries to proof a bit against that a bit more. Right. That's a layout. We'll just equip it straight away with one of these. Actually, no, hang on. Is that going to be way too much? Yeah, hang on. What am I doing? We've got the JP pack. We can just load in a decent prefab. Or we can even load in one of the community ones. I'll maybe use one of these since we've got them with us. Oh, 5x5. Yes, form factor. Okay, let's try this. Looks like exhaust out the back. Yeah, if you don't know the JP engine pack, it's not modded. It's just a bunch of prefabbed engines. What is this one doing? Output 996. Powder material 552. That sounds pretty good to me. That's probably not doing it at the moment because it probably needs some fuel and whatnot. A little bit of a reserve of fuel. Do 2. So what I'm thinking is if we have a layer of metal and then a layer of stone on the inside, well, maybe we'll try and make this a bit more budget than the Angie. It's like our standard battle line, which sort of fits for Chris, right? She couldn't afford to customize her robot, but she did sort of pilot it quite well, and she did like all she could with it. So this will be our budget tank. But what vehicle to base this on? Also, I should add the pipe for the engine before I completely forget about it. But I think if we have a layer of stone, it's reasonably tough stuff, even if it is a bit heavy, but whatever. Like, and it's pretty EMP proof. We could do a layer of surge protector, but I have a feeling that's quite expensive because the other thing with stone is it's cheap. I believe, anyway. Material cost 2. Yeah, it's cheaper than stone, so it's cheaper than metal, so. What does she say about it? Strong and heavy, predominantly for building structures. You can't tell me what to do, I can't read. It's a total lie, but it sounds good. Right, so we'll build that there. Oh, one moment. Okay, and we're back. Right, do we keep doing what we've been doing, where we have the AI behind the nose and then we have the turret here? I guess we'll do that. Put that in for positioning. We'll just have a second layer of metal around the turret for protection. This will be our cheaper main tank. We'll maybe put some ERA on the outside. Oh, what could we do for looks for this one? I am trying to think. I do like basing them off real ones, but form factor at the moment it's very square. I might just quickly in the other tab look up square tanks. Are there any? Ah, yes, tanks in the red square. That was not quite what I was. Oh, TM. Oh no, TM square. That's definitely not what I was thinking. Okay, yeah, the World War I tank. That's. Oh, game, you're giving me terrible ideas. I could build a World War I tank. I could build one with casemate guns on either side. Or sponsored guns rather, and then have the internals in here. Oh god, it's a terrible idea. Let's do it. It is an awful, awful idea, and we're going to do it. I think it'll be fun. Right. Yeah, we'll do reinforced sponsons on the side where there'll be a powerful cannon on each side. Split space down the middle so they hopefully won't cause a... We split with heavy armor, that'll hopefully protect in case of an internal explosion and stop any chain reactions blasting through to the other side and knocking out the other gun. Hopefully. This is all in theory, of course. Right. And then what I think it is if we do advanced firing piece on either side and keep it somewhat of a lower profile if we do it like this, even if again it's probably a terrible idea. But again, I think it'd be fun. We don't have to build all our designs to be excellent, we just have to build them to be good enough to work. There we go. So we'll do that. We'll have big heavy cannons on either side. But we'll try and keep the majority of the internals on the inside. We can technically take on two enemies at once with this. Not that that necessarily means much, but hey, oh. Yeah, stick it about 300, so we'll go for whatever gauge that gives us. 300 and... We'll do one above 300. Come on. 348. I think it is. If we go... like that, then we could put our recoil absorbers over the top and our ammunition stuff below. Or maybe reinforce this wall even behind the sponson. Right. The other thing it's looking is... It might look a tiny bit like as a Land Raider, but I suppose they are literally based on the World War I tank. Let's go give it a name, but they don't really have... Well, I suppose... What are they? Like Mark... Oh, what's the standard one? The Mark IV, I think? Yeah, if we in fact had this one into a... I guess it's maybe not our main battle tank anymore. We'll get a main one. Actually, if anything, does it make more sense for the main tank to be like the Hilda or the Rosalie, maybe even, rather than the Chris? Yeah, we'll make this the Chris still, because it's a slight oddball. If anything, yeah, again, this is still fitting quite nicely. Yeah, so we'll just load this one with some massive 8-meter shells. This will be the Demolisher. Sort of updated Ursha, if you will. The Ursha and the others should still be perfectly functional against smaller targets, but... I realise that the role is changing rapidly as I work, but that's how it be sometimes. I'm however going to greatly reinforce that, because it's going to be taking hits from the front. Just to make sure there's no weak point there. Right. Actually, do they have any upwards movement? 10 and 20 degrees. Oh, so they have a little bit of movement up and down. Oh, right. 007. God, what on earth do I classify this as? Swanson tank. Well, tank hunter. Tank hunter, why not? Yeah, tank destroyer even. Yeah. It's another tank destroyer, I suppose, in a sense, isn't it? Right. It will also probably fit a little anti-aircraft gun on this one as well. Yes, the main difference between this and the Ursha is this is probably going to be firing even more powerful shells. It's a different method, but... go with that for now, but it'll probably need something better than that. Right. Cooling-wise, we'll also improve this. Little spiral, why not? Okay, so... yeah, what kind of shell can we make for a... we'll want the same shell both, so we'll do a physical shell customizer. We could probably load full length, I would imagine. We could even go up to 500 meters, potentially, 500 mil, but we'll maybe try and keep it as what it is, which is what... these are, yeah, we'll want to move these because these are meant to be near the front, technically. 348, so... length, yeah. It could fit into 7. In fact, we might even just as well increase it up to max. Oh, shell 999? Oop. Nope, we can't have it max. Okay, that's fine though. So, at current stats, we would try and make it APHE, for example. If we were to do like HE2, so we say a HE, a fragment even, not a flak, and a fuse. What kind of AP are we getting at the moment? 500,000 kinetic damage, so that'll probably punch through something. 34 AP and quite a bit of damage. In fact, we could set the fragment cone angle to max. Distance 5 meters. That will presumably punch through something quite effectively, right? Let's let's quickly add the wheels and build the frame out a bit more. And we'll give it an AI so we can actually test it in God mode. But I think we need to get this one actually moving before I can test this properly. As silly as a concept this is. Let's block the hull out a little bit more first. So if we're going for World War One, we can slope up right from there. It can be quite boxy, although we're going to... Yeah, well, we'll give it a completely slab front, but we'll make it, again, just thick armour, basically. Which is not realistic at all. The real one did not have very good armour at all. In fact, these will have to come out a bit because they're, anything, I just realised these are too close. I want to, because I want to put the wheels in here, so I think we'll do maybe another layer of armour, we'll put them there. So yeah, one more, and then we curve it forwards. A heavy barrel end, and then we do... something like that for now. Oh. Can do is quickly try it as well, can't we? We do a... fit the control seat quickly, we'll move the AI to somewhere a little better than that, but... could even potentially go in the compartment with the engine, maybe, but we'll see. Layout for tanks is a little bit of a tricky thing, isn't it? I'm sure most of you watching this already know that. That's got a kick. Just a little bit. Right. Air, what am I doing? Land. Sorry, it's because they used to be there. It always throws me off. Guess we'll settle with having them together for now and then shut them apart later. Most of you want this thing working for now. Oh, we need a... we'll do a drive control up, right. I'm going to put them here on the grounds that it might be a very slim cabin and we might have armour in front. Also need to actually set it to... spawning the big fella. Okay, yeah, recall might have to be addressed because that has kicked us sideways. Yo, is this their flagship? I probably spoiled myself by seeing this, but look at this thing. So we've hit the front door. Okay, yeah, the pen deck might need some work still because that was not very good. Yeah, we'll probably need to redesign the shells, but hey, we hit it. Oh, an EMP's going to be a problem with this thing, I see. Oh, ammo access running low. See, RPM 3. RPM of 3. It's our limit at the moment. Autoloaders, yep, that sounds about right. Yeah, the shells definitely need work. Where did we hit? There? Yeah, that's kind of pitiful. May even go for full payload, potentially. Okay, so assuming that's not very good. Oh, yeah, actually, yeah, no, that's not much damage at all, I suppose, now I look at it again. Right. We could even go for dual heat. It is like a double heat type. So we go for a squash head heat. HE, HE, HE. Secondary charge. There's a secondary charge somewhere. Or am I imagining it and that's not a real thing? I thought there was a... oh, secondary shape charge. HE warhead, 3 HE warheads, so we should have 2 heat things. The first one, 30, but with enormous damage. 80,000, jeez. Second one, tiny bit less, 50,000 damage. So this should be pretty devastating for anything hit by it. Would I add something else to it to make it even nicer? Why not? Let's add some fragments at the back as well. Fragments at the back, yeah, there we go. In theory, these should be going off well after it's penetrated through the armor. If we do a fin body to stabilize it. Not going to be super high velocity, but they don't really have to be. Okay, let's try that. So we do clip lips. Oh, right, I have to do... Yes, clip lips. Reloading, right. Yeah, then actually adding some ammunition. Yeah, in general, I might even add a... Yeah, given the shape's kind of wrong at the moment anyway, what I might do is have the ammunition compartment just be right in the back. We'll have it slope up a little bit. We'll have it slope up twice so we can put better armor around it. Is this a bit of an odder design that we've been doing? Yes, but hopefully functional enough. Oh, shoot, I've got to remember that's got to go all the way through. Yeah, I'll leave that there so we can have a bit of space at the side. Right. Oh yeah, the other thing to check would be... what's the barrel length recommended on this? Oh, 15 meters, huh? Okay. Okay, we might not be at that. 0.37, we're not at that. And I don't think we're going to be, but we could expand them a bit, I suppose. Well, maybe we are. Hang on, what are we at? 4, 6... 7, 11, 15, right? Okay. Maybe that's not so bad. The recoil seems a lot less bad on these. Oh, I suppose it would be, right? Because there's less, there's more shell and less anything else. Right, what's the reload time? Oh, God. 1.9, really? Is it the autoloaders? It is the autoloaders. Is that because some of them haven't loaded yet? This may end up being an idea I decide is too silly and scrapping, but I'm having fun with it. So we hit this thing with one of these shells. I've not really tried dual heat. I figured it could be interesting for this. Well, we hit it. What did we do? Where did we hit it? Oh, Jesus Christ, that's bright inside. Where did we hit it? We definitely did damage. There? Is that just a red stripe? No, it's just the red stripe. Where did we hit it? I am told we hit it, but I don't think we've done anything. Yeah, the ram is about there, please. Thank you. Oh, God, hang on. Well, we actually need this view for once. Right, what did that actually do? Oh, Jesus. Okay. That did something. So that went in, punched right through, went back to here and exploded, I think? How much did we drop out of it there? Cool. Okay, that actually did quite a lot of damage. Try the other side. Something that was in there vanished, and then I think it exploded in there. Okay, I think the shells might be good. Right. Okay, so we set the AI up a little bit now. So we'll do point at. You can turn on the spot, you can reverse, you can be stationary. And maneuver, you are a tank. Yeah, so we set the armor up just to make sure we're actually going to have enough material for it. Be lighter armor on the outside again, we'll try not to go too expensive with this one. It can be more. It can be more expensive than the other vehicles we've been building, because I sort of expect we're going to have to go a bit more expensive than them. They were quite cheap. But we do want it to be affordable. We also need to be in volume limit, so we have to keep an eye on that. Actually, it's probably best to just do 3 long up here, isn't it? What this is doing is providing a nice, nice massive air gap as well. I actually kind of like how this looks. It is looking a little bit Warhammery. It's looking a bit like a Nurgle crawler or something. I don't know why, but I feel like it's a bit Nurgly. Which is fine, because out of all the Chaos Gods, it's the only one that he's the only one I actually kind of like, so I don't consider that a bad thing. Siege is fine. Slanesh, eh. Khorne, big angry, but that's the whole joke. Is there one that's just like a... Okay, I guess we'll just add some wheels vertically for the look. Here you actually will have some that function. Oop. Yeah, it should probably be up to there, right? And then, yeah, too long. There we go. Volume, that's alright so far. Big box on wheels. Yeah, I see a shade to replace the Ursha so fast, but hopefully the two will be able to fulfill roles the other can't. And again, if not, oh well, we're going to have to upgrade our designs eventually. Definitely got an ammo shortage. Might need to store a bit more in. A little bit. Try to be a little bit cautious about how much ammo we have on board, because it obviously is explosive, but if we need it, we need it. We can't get away with not having it. Right, is the fire rate still terrible, or was that because they weren't loaded? It is just terrible. Okay. Good, I guess. Right. So ungodly. Yes. Spawn a chaos? There's a chaos with this at home. Oh, it's one of these piston spin block doodads I've heard of. Famous last words. It's not one of these... Jeez, okay. It's not one of these spin block things I've heard of. It's a giant particle cannon. That might also be one of these spin block things I've heard of. No, it is. It's a giant bar spinner, isn't it? It just happens to have 3 particle cannons under the nose. Although I will note, it's for what I think has happened. One of them is missed by like a fraction of a millimeter. The others definitely didn't hit. Oh, it's got very high fire rate. Let's see what happens when we actually get a hit. I guess I accidentally captured a screenshot at the perfect second. Perfect split second, right. Well, supposedly a lot of damage has happened there, but I can't see anything. However, I am seeing a shield offline, so that wasn't actually a bad first hit. That is... So, okay, so if we ever see one of these... Planes only, I think we're agreed. Or I'll send in the Angie. But you know what? This episode's probably about over an hour anyway by the time I edit it together. Let's test the see if the Angie can help this thing out. Although it gets destroyed almost immediately. Well, it seems to be quick enough to outrun the majority of its stuff. Oh. Right, we never did test for EMP. This will probably be a valuable test data, if anything. If it loses to this thing, I won't be too surprised, because this is obviously about... Costs the same as about 2 Angies, and is a much larger craft, and from the depths crafts do definitely scale a bit when you go just upwards. The Angie is struggling to get away from it because it's so quick, although it is... Must be at least matching it for speed. Okay, EMP doesn't seem to be too devastating for it, or at least not enough to immediately knock it out. Probably not hurt at all by the fact it's got a lot of heavy armor. Okay, let's quickly try one of those against two Angies, which cost about the same overall, and see how it does. They're actually spawned facing the right way and at a bit of a distance. Why are they flying so high? I couldn't tell you. That one's taking a beating, but the other one should be alright. It is for some reason flying right above it. You don't want to be up there, you want to be level with it. Your armor's on the side. Oh. Okay, looks like it's okay over the rough ground. We did have some trouble with it early on, that's again why it flies a bit higher up now. Seems to be about alright. Seems to be... Oh, nice evasion. Oh, because it's going up a mountain. Oh, actually, yeah, this might get him, if anything. No. Oh, it's a good climber. Although, a bad landing there is going to be very bad for it. Forcing the AO onto cliffs might not be a bad tactic. Oh, look at it go, even over terrain like this. It is half flying, that's probably not hurting, but... Oh, no, that has ruined it. Okay, so that's a tactic we could potentially employ. I think one of our owners crashed as well, but... Or been knocked out, it's hard to say, but... He's taken a big hit crashing in this ground. Oh, he's Oh, there he goes, he's ascending. He prayed hard enough to their god, and he ascended. Before hubris and physics brought him down to earth. Okay, noted. The terrain is our friend. Use it to help them crash. Still, EMP protection's working. Even that hit the glass didn't kill the camera. Oh, mind you, glass is presumably very EMP resistant as well, right? Glass is an insulator, right? Not as much as I thought it would be, but it does have resistance to it, yes. Yeah, okay. Well, the Chris is in production now. It's a weird looking thing, but it's based on a slightly weird tank anyway. As said, we'll try and work out how to make that thing work, but obviously it's not very done yet. Like I said, the Angie is working reasonably well now. I'm quite happy with it, but I'd like it to look a bit nicer. So if you have any suggestions for making this thing look prettier, it's functional, but it does not look like much. Do send them in the comments or join us in the Discord. Say hello. I don't mind either way. Hopefully you've all enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys all again in the next one. Goodbye.